Thank you, Jesus.
Lord. Amen. Thank you, Lord.
How y'all doing this evening? Doing good. Today I will be speaking about Elijah. And the title of my text will be Running Away from Your Life. I don't know about y'all, maybe it's just me, but if I could think about how many times I ran away from my life, I mean, I'll be thin, I'll be in shape. Man, I'll be sitting up here, standing up in front of y'all with a six-pack maybe. And not this beer pack I got, but you know, that's another story. So, today we're going to be speaking about running for your life. Have any of y'all ever ran for your life this morning, for anything in life? Or is it just me?
No.
No? Okay.
Not by yourself.
All right.
Man.
Well, my first text will be coming from 1 Kings, the 19th chapter, and the 8th verse. 1 Kings, the 19th chapter, and the first 8th verse. And if I can get a volunteer for somebody to read that 8th verse for me.
19:8.
Yes, sir.
And he arose, and he did eat and drink, and went in the strength of that meat, 40 days and 40 nights unto Horeb, the mountain of God.
Now, Elijah just got done overcoming one of the greatest victory in the Bible. I believe he slayed over 400, right? 400 fake prophecies or prophets. And, you know, God just worked through this man, Elijah. Elijah was one of the powerful prophets that was ever known in the Bible. Elijah could speak to the weather and it would be rain. Elijah was one of the greatest prophets there was. But everybody know Ahab's wife, right? What's her name? Jezebel. And y'all know how that Jezebel spirit gets sometimes. That Jezebel spirit can make a man feel less than a man. That Jezebel spirit can make a man just feel worthless at times.
All right, say that.
I feel like I'm the only one.
No, man,
Okay, I'm preaching to myself. That's okay.
Stand by yourself. That's it. Do what
So,
You're right.
do what you got to do.
Elijah had received a letter from Jezebel
All right.
saying that he's going to kill him.
Come on.
And what did Elijah do after receiving that text? He ran.
Sure enough, he did.
He ran.
Amen.
Now, the man with that power of God, I mean, it's strange. Why would Elijah run?
Come on. Say that.
I mean, he just got done slaying 400 prophets, fake prophets. But he ran. Now, that tells me something right there. Jezebel had to do something that nobody was able to do to Elijah.
Tell it.
And that was Elijah, how should I say, maybe Jezebel spoke to something inside of Elijah that had never been dealt with before. Maybe something in his spirit, because you just came from this great victory. And how many of y'all ever overcome one big victory and just like feeling yourself? You're feeling pumped. You know, like nobody can stop you. You know, you might feel like the LeBron James of the game. You know, your heart pumping. You're like, I'm this, I'm that. And you start boasting. You start being bold.
Come on. Proud.
Somebody read the 9th verse of the 19th chapter for me. In the 1 King.
And there he went into a cave and spent the night in that place. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, and he said to him, "What are you doing here, Elijah?"
My Lord.
What are you doing here, Elijah? What are you doing here, Elijah? How many of y'all ever ask yourself that, like, question, like, y'all thought y'all overcame this situation, overcame this problem, and y'all just, like, wake up the next morning and just, like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing here? Like, I thought I overcame this. I thought I dealt with this last year. I thought I overcome this. I thought I had power over this. I thought I had victory over this. Why am I still here?
Come on, baby. Tell it. Fix it.
Your anxiety start getting the best of you.
Plead the blood of Jesus over you. Come on. Fix it.
What are you doing here, Elijah?
All right.
And you know, everybody have an excuse for something.
Come on. Say that. Amen.
We got an excuse for
Sure
everything.
enough. Amen.
Well, Lord, you know, they say they're going to kill me. I did your work, God, you know.
Come on.
The Israelites want me dead. Jezebel want me dead, Lord. But he forgot he had a responsibility.
Sure enough.
He had a duty. And when God is not through with you yet, you know, you just can't run, no matter how far you run.
Sure enough. Right. Say that.
Now, can somebody read that 10 verse for me?
So he said, I have been very zealous for the Lord God of hosts. But the children of Israel have forsaken your covenant, torn down your altars, and killed your prophets with the sword. I alone am left, and they seek to take my life.
They seek to take his life.
My Lord, my Lord.
He ran in fear because he thought his life was in jeopardy.
Yes.
Now, how many of y'all know when we got God is on our side, no weapon shall form against
No
us?
weapon. Say enough. Amen.
And you know, like I said, this not just anybody off of the street. This not just anybody, you know, like, yes, I choose to follow you, Lord, today. This is somebody who spoke to thousands of people. This is somebody who slain fake prophets for God. This is one of God's chosen one.
Yes.
Jezebel spoke into something in him.
My Lord, my Lord.
Jezebel has spoken into that spirit that never been dealt with before.
Come on.
Lord, I fear for my life. Lord, they want to kill me.
My Lord, my Lord.
So, and then I believe 11, let me get on to it myself.
Take your time, baby.
The Lord said, go into the mountain before the Lord. That's what the angel told Elijah. Go into the mountain and meet up with the Lord. And the Lord had already passed him. And when the Lord had passed him, there was a strong wind. But God wasn't in the wind. And then there was an earthquake, mountain shattering, rock crumbling down. But the Lord wasn't in the earthquake. And then what they said, there was fire.
Yes. And after the earthquake was fire, but the Lord wasn't.
But the Lord wasn't in the fire. What that tell you right there?
Come on.
And that sounds very similar to the stuff that's going on in California right now.
Say that.
Earthquake, fire, mudslide. You know, a lot of people want to say, oh, you know, God is in that.
All right.
No, God ain't in that. God don't wish no harm upon nobody. And it just said right here, up in the text, the Lord had already passed when all these things had happened. But you know, that's how the devil get us. The devil use one thing to distract us.
My Lord.
you know, and try to make it think it's from the Lord, but not all the time it comes from the Lord.
Amen.
The devil loves to run interference.
Yes.
Now, after he went up there to the mountain, get before the Lord, nothing but excuses come again when he speak to the Lord. And the Lord said, Elijah, why are you here? He whispered. Now, I just want to know, how many of y'all ever try to run away and go into a corner place, a dark place, and just hide and just try to be by yourself because, you know, you feel shame, you feel afraid, you know, like you just want to be alone.
My Lord.
You know, and when your anxiety is high like that,
My Lord.
you know, sometimes all it takes is a whisper.
That's it.
And I think it's just ironic that the Lord could speak to the wall and it echoes.
Yes.
That's just wonderful.
Yes.
But as he gets to the cave, the mountain, Elijah came up with the same excuse as he told the angel. He said, Lord, I fear for my life. I did what you told me to do. I am your servant. I was your good steward. I obey you. I slain these fake prophecy. I'm sorry.
Take your time.
And let's just speak on how Elijah did this first before I get to the next part.
My Lord.
Elijah taught these people, he told them to call forth their own God. You know, do what you ever need to do, and whichever God show up first, then we know who served the real God.
All right.
You have people out there cutting themselves,
Come on.
trying to get blood to make sacrifice. And you know, and like I spoke about earlier, when you got that big head because you know what your God is, and you know you just that good, you start taunting the other players. Maybe your God sleep, Elijah yelled. Maybe your God taking a nap. Maybe you need to scream louder. Maybe you're laying down in the ocean with the fish. So Elijah did what all he did, taunted them enough, and when there was nothing that happened, Elijah took a sacrifice. And not only he made that sacrifice, he poured water on that sacrifice, they say. Now, I don't know about y'all, but any of y'all ever been in Boy Scouts or just camping, period, or burning anything in the yard? Y'all know water can't just set things on fire when you wet certain stuff. No matter what you do, it won't light. It's just science. So Elijah poured the water around, and then boom, fire came everywhere. They say fire not only took the water and the sacrifice, but took the dust around it, the dirt around it, and everything went in flame. And then everything around it died of the fake prophet.
My Lord.
Now that just tell me right there, Elijah wasn't just pouring the water to make a sample. He was just making a point that the Lord would take that water and soak it up and drink it and use it as he need to see fit. Sometimes we all just get so full of ourselves where we so scared to make sacrifice in our life where we just like, Lord, I can't do this because I can't afford it because I'm going to get put out of my house. Or Lord, I can't tithe like I want to tithe in the church because, you know, I ain't got nothing else. This is all I have. What are you doing here, Elijah?
My Lord.
So when Jesus listened to Elijah, he heard Elijah out. He told Elijah to go back. go back the way he came, because Elijah had a responsibility to do. Elijah hadn't fulfilled the Lord's work just yet. So how many of y'all try to run away from those problems again? And just like I said, that same problem, the same situation just keep coming back up again.
Yes, yes.
Almost like certain family members, certain friends. You thought you got rid of them, you thought you was done with them, but everywhere you go, you can't duck them, you can't hide them because they just right there. They find a way to come back into your life. They find a way to surface up some kind of way. Almost just like bad habits that happened in the past. Almost like bad memories, and you try to leave it behind your mind. They always surface. It's because it surfaced because God wants you to deal with it.
Yes.
You have a responsibility, and no matter what you do, you won't never ever be able to outrun it. No matter how far you run, no matter how far you go, no matter what you duck underneath, it's gonna always pop back up until you deal with it.
Amen.
So Elijah had to go back the way he came. God told Elijah that before you can become done of any of this, I need you to anoint Elijah to take your place. So Elijah had a responsibility. Before he can do anything, before he can think about second going his own way, he had to finish the will of the Lord. And there was no outrun of it. So he had to go back and face Jezebel. Face everything he was fearing, facing everything his anxiety was telling him to do. And, you know, the bottom line of this text for today was, I'm not going to keep y'all long. You know, we as God children, we can't run away from our responsibility. We got to face it, no matter how hard it is, no matter how scary it is. You know, we got to face it, and we got to do it with it boldly. And we got to have faith in God. You know, I know sometimes that's hard to do. It's easy said than done. You know, people sometimes look at us crazy and say, oh, that boy right there, he believes in something that you can't even see. He believes in angels and all this other unnecessary stuff. You know, you get talked about at times because that's weird. It's unhumanly. But I just want to leave this with y'all today before I go take my seat. That you can do all things through Christ. No matter no weapon shall form against you, y'all can do all things through Christ. Life have a situation to bring you down, but you can get back up again no matter what. I don't care what you're facing, what you're going through, what you're dealing with. God can see you through all things.
Yes, he can. You're nothing can.
And I'm going to leave y'all with that. Amen.
It's all right, baby.
Amen.
It's all right, son.
God for the great message.
Sure
That
was.
running. There's a lot of yet running from responsibility. Some don't want the responsibility. I know men to run from their home and left the wife with all responsibility to raise the children by themselves. And we run away from church and leave responsibility on the pastor. We run away from in our community where we should be leaders in our community. Running, but every minister I know that was called to preach, and he testified that he was running from God a long time when he decided what God wanted to do. My first minister, my first son was, you said John run, and run got in the ship. Running from responsibility that God had told every man we know be ordained, you will tell you that. Because to get ordained, you got to tell your calling and what God did. And everyone I know that telling they run a long time for themselves.
Oh, yes.
Do what God wants you to do. Elijah was a man that could call, look, and pray and tell God to shut up the heaven. Don't let no rain fall 3.5 years. And everything was dying dry. They prayed back to God, let the rain come. But the woman Jezebel got on his nerves somehow. And he run, forgot about the true living God that he could call upon.
Say that.
And God be dead right with him. And we thank God for Humble Green Jr., the great message that God given. Everybody receive it, everybody like it.
Amen.
Amen. Everybody find the fault. Amen. Nobody find no fault, no lacking. It be my job to ask a minister, preacher for his son, to license him, not ordain, to license him to preach God's word. And that be lied on the pastor be responsibility. And if everybody okay in the church, they okay, we're going, I got some more, we get the secretary to fill out license, get him license that he be able to go out and preach God's word.
That's it.
At that time after hearing that great message, somebody might be running from Jesus right now.
Come on.
Need Jesus in your life. And what you running for, he can fix anything that you need.
Oh, yes.
Because Paul said, you can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens you.
Come on.
Whenever you stand in need now, you can do it through Jesus. Don't run from him. Run to him. Say, Lord, here am I. I just said, here am I. Send me, I'll go.
Yes.
Open the door to the invitation of Christ.